I'm Al McFarlane. Welcome to a special edition of Conversations with
Al,
Al.
can you hear me?
I do, and we're live. I'm Al McFarlane. This is Conversations with Al McFarlane, a special conversation, a brief one this morning with Senator Tina Smith. Senator Smith, first of all, today we in the world commemorate the life, the work of Dr. Martin Luther King. And I know that you are one of the leaders of the effort to pass voting rights legislation. Talk about that if you would. Good morning and welcome.
Well, good morning, Al. And it always feels good to be with you on this day in particular as we celebrate Dr. King's birthday and his work. I have to tell you that I come to you today with just so much humility. It has been a discouraging week, to be honest, as we have worked so hard to pass the Freedom to Vote Act to protect people's voting rights in this country, to end partisan gerrymandering, to stop Republican legislatures around the country from passing laws that make it harder for Black people and poor people to vote. And so it's frustrating. It's frustrating today. But I also know that the arc of the moral universe bends towards justice, as Dr. King says. It just doesn't always bend on the timetable that we have such urgency around here on this beautiful earth. And that is the challenge that we have right now. So I'll be going back to Washington tomorrow. I will be with my Democratic colleagues holding the floor of the United States Senate on Wednesday to push a vote on these important pieces of legislation and to push a vote to change the Senate rules so that a minority can't block us from making the progress that we must make to protect people's most precious of freedoms.
What are the options? What scenarios do you see playing out 1, 2, and 3?
Well, as I think a lot of people know, the Senate has these old rules which require 60 people to vote yes in order for a piece of legislation to go forward. This is really unheard of. No other legislative body that I am aware of has that supermajority rule. And that, of course, then allows a minority of people to block votes. That is essentially the tool that was used by white supremacists in our country to block voting rights legislation, to block the full promise of our country. And yet it still is in place in the United States Senate today. So what can we do about this? There's a variety of ways that we can change the Senate rules. It's up to a majority of the senators to make that decision. We could carve out voting rights as one place where a simple majority rules, as it should always rule in a democracy. We could require those that oppose voting rights legislation to hold the floor of the Senate and to talk until they're worn out, which is what a filibuster was originally intended to be. Unfortunately, no Republican supports those rule changes, and 2 Democrats also don't support those rule changes. And so that is the reason why we are in the position that we're in today.
The carve-out is not an unusually used tool. It's used all the time.
Right.
And so
that's exactly right.
And so what do you expect to happen this week?
Well, as you say, Al, the carve out, we don't require, the filibuster can't be used to block Supreme Court nominees. It can't be used to block judicial appointments or executive appointments like cabinet secretaries. We have a way of circumventing the filibuster to pass important piece of budget legislation, which is what we did with the American Rescue Plan. So why not voting rights, I think, is a question that we have to ask ourselves. I strongly think that we should allow the voting rights legislation to go through with a simple majority. Unfortunately, though, and this is my source of great frustration, as I said, no Republicans and 2 Democrats refuse to make those rule changes. And so what will happen this week is we will play this out in real time on the Senate floor. I have to tell everybody I'm not optimistic that we will find a path forward, but we won't stop trying. I think that is that's my responsibility as a United States Senator to everybody in this country and certainly to Minnesota.
Senator Smith, thank you. I know you've got other interviews waiting, but thank you for taking the time to talk to us here at Inside News and at Black Press USA.
Thank you so much, Al.
Good luck. Good luck. What can citizens do to support you to voice our concerns finally?
Well, I would say I'm reminded today that the birthday of Dr. King is not a day. It's not a day of celebration. It should be a day of action, and of course, not just today, but every day. Now, we are so blessed in Minnesota that our voting laws in Minnesota are very strong. They protect people's franchise and people's rights to vote, and so that is a blessing for us. I just want that blessing to be broadly shared across the country, and that is not the case. So what people can do is to not give up hope, continue to fight, and continue to take care of all of our families, and not to become discouraged, even at a time like this, where we are in a moment of real conflict.
Senator Smith, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.